I've got a feeling today's going to be a bit of a wild episode because I've got a prank. I'm not the mischievous type, right? But I have a prank in mind that I think is going to be amazing. So, welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft here in Minecraft 1.21. Look at me, I've been out there collecting some record discs. Oh, and you can get some really good loot from the trial chambers. I got myself a trident. And last episode, just in case you're wondering, we farmed up these ominous trial keys and the ominous bottles too. But I think in this episode, we're not even going to touch any of the trial chamber stuff. You'll see behind me, I've got a couple of brewing stands here. We're going to be playing around with the potions of infestation and weaving. I will, however, need to turn these into splash potions to help us make a new farm. You can probably guess what it is already, but if not, I'll keep you waiting. We're going to start this episode off over at Loglands, where we'll be doing some redstone, and I've got a little nostalgia story to tell you that takes us all the way back to the very first season of Hermitcraft. So the furnace array, I've made some interesting discoveries about this, and we've got a fix that we need to do. But before we get to that, I have a story about how these things work. And it actually all hinges on something that we all take for granted. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a demonstration. Let's put some items in for smelting, and the minecart will pick those items up and just drop them off one by one into these furnaces. This is what we take for granted. It never used to work like this. Oh boy, here we go. A trip down memory lane. And goodness me, look at those old textures. This, by the way, is the hub, the heart of my Season 1 base. And I think we want to head off in this direction, first of all, to the mob spawner. And that's because I want to give you a sense of the project that led to this particular change in Minecraft. It starts over here with our mob farm, which was built before beacons and instant mine. I dug out a huge space down below to create some dark rooms. This then transports the mobs up to a drop that comes all the way down. You might have spotted it just there between the leaves. It's kind of hidden in the middle of this jungle, and this is where I come and collect some drops and kill some mobs. But here we also have the option to redirect mobs to different locations. So there is a system here that allows the mobs to be taken through these water sources and like pushed off in another direction. You know what? I feel like we don't do stuff like this as much anymore. Also, no skin. It's a good reason to give it a go again, I reckon. All right, my friend, where are you heading to now? Oh yeah, there we go. Look, successfully redirected along here. So this then takes them to a special spot where we can equip these zombies with armor. Of course, back then it would be the ones that could pick up items that wouldn't despawn. So all these other mobs would just naturally disappear as they made their way over there. I completely forgot how derpy, like, mob behavior used to be in water. This is not how they would behave today. So I had two mini games that this was useful for. There are some old school dispensers back there that would shoot out armor and items to equip the zombies that could pick up items. Not sure how we activate that. There's some redstone here, but look. Loads and loads of the old items that we use for these games. But yeah, there was a dungeon and an arena, and you could redirect them to either of those, I believe. Ah, look at that. The water's moving away, and now they're getting sent off to that side. So the mobs would get queued up inside of this area. You could use the pistons to kind of hold them back in little groups. And when released, there was a system here for dispensing potions onto them, like speed potions, to make them a little more interesting to take on. They would then fall down in waves into this arena where me and some of the other hermits got together and took them on. It was like our own custom little mob battle of sorts. But it was below here that I had another project involving these mobs, and this is where you'll see we've got like a furnace array, one of the first ones I ever built. But behind it, there are a sequence of rooms, and I made a challenge dungeon for Corrales and Generic B, where they would have to take on some of the mobs that have been equipped with like lots of armor and potion effects, and they would pop out of the ground and take them on one room at a time. That stuff's probably not too interesting right now, is it? Let's talk about the furnace array that we've got over here. You'll notice the furnaces are spaced out, and then there's a bunch of numbers next to each one, and that's because I did a bunch of math around the timing for the distribution of a minecart chest putting items into these hoppers. And like I said, this is something that we now just take for granted that this works, because back then it didn't. You would send out these minecarts with items and they wouldn't evenly distribute into the furnaces. Some would go into some and none into others. But back then, one of the Mojang developers actually played on Hermitcraft. I'm of course talking about Dinnerbone, and I passed on this issue to him, and he decided that he would make it so that minecarts could evenly distribute into furnaces. And that's just a really cool story that popped back into my mind when I was working on these again recently. Before I show you the latest for our furnace array on the current season of Hermitcraft, I just want to know, did you enjoy this little nostalgia story? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts, because maybe we could weave a few more of these into the occasional episodes when it's relevant. Now let's get back to the present day and talk about this furnace array. The issue we had was one of timing. We needed there to be a delay for these minecarts going out to take the items after these have smelted, but I'd made a fatal error because all we did was add a delay. You see, each time one of these minecarts come out, the same amount are going to come out over here, but they're going to come out at the same pace as these ones. So notice that one comes out before any more items have smelted. So a hopper minecart picks up an item every single game tick. And because we have 80 furnaces, that means one of those goes out every 80 ticks. But here's the thing, it takes 200 ticks to smelt an item. So if we had built this thing with 200 furnaces, that would have been absolutely perfect, and I kind of wish I'd have thought about that first. But because we only have 80, we need to do something different here. And I think you could refer to this system as a memory cell. So on this side over here, we're going to be able to put items into the dropper on the opposite side. We're going to use that to count how many times items have gone out into the furnaces. So when the first one goes out, we can send an item from this side into this one over here. We can use a comparator to know that items are inside of here, and that means we need to run a separate clock that goes on 200 ticks. So every time a round of items goes out, we give it enough time to smelt before we send that item back. And when we send all of the item back, the clock will then turn off and no more minecarts will be sent out. There is, however, an edge case here to be concerned about, both of these droppers getting powered at the exact same time. Well, let's go ahead and simulate that, and you'll see that one item went to this side and one item went to that side. So that's not going to be an issue. So now what we need to do is hook up the pulse that puts a hopper minecart on these tracks to take some items out to be smelted. We feed that into this first dropper, and then we need to create a system that runs that 200 tick clock on this one over here. And each time 200 ticks passes, we power the dropper to move an item back, because this is acting as a counter. And then we also send out a hopper minecart down at the bottom here to pick up items from underneath the furnaces. This is what that redstone looks like, and it's quite easy to follow. When we send out a minecart to pick up items, the same redstone now will activate this dropper, which can move an item into the other one. That'll activate this comparator, and we can keep moving items into here without that interfering, as we're not using signal strength. We're just turning off this redstone torch. That'll then run this cooldown clock, which lasts 200 ticks, and when it runs out of redstone signal strength, this sticky piston pulls down and creates a signal at the bottom that goes out to the dispenser for the minecarts to pick up items from the furnaces. That same signal will then power the redstone here again, so the observer's going to pop back up into this position, where it can then move an item out of this dropper and into the one back here. Now, if there are still items inside of this dropper, the whole process will repeat again. If not, the redstone torch will turn on and just lock the system. And you know me, I love a good redstone solution. Let's now see it in action, shall we? Out goes our first minecart, and then we have an item here smelted, and out comes the hopper minecart to pick it up. Now, the first one that came out was just a tick or two after the item smelted, but then after that, they seem to come out a little further on. The counting system is working, but somewhere in here, there's like some added delay, so it probably needs some fine-tuning. But yeah, we can see how many minecarts have gone out in here. Very cool, right? It's like a little memory circuit to remember how many minecarts we've sent out. Anyways, we're going to swiftly move on to our next project with some 1.21 shenanigans involving those potions, And I think we're going to do this right here in Loglands, the home of many of our farms. However, this one is going to involve some allays. What the heck? Dude, that just popped into existence. Do you remember the end of last episode? Giant armor stands are now a thing. What a sight. What an absolute sight. I can't help but feel we're going to see a lot of this season. I'm getting so distracted. I need to go over here. I've got my allay breeding kit in my back pocket here. So yeah, it's time to get our hands on a couple more of these. Oh my god. Ren has armadillos in his base. That is absolutely perfect. They belong here. This is your home, my friend. This is your home. Another one. Oh, this is so good. Oh, look, a scoot. I'll take that. I'll take that. Hey, buddy, doing your little animations. Go on. Do it again. Do it again. I forget how to startle them. Isn't it sprint, not jump? Yep, sprinting makes them curl into a shell. I need to get these guys to Loglands, right? Can I do this? Did they fix that? I think they fixed it, right? No, I've only got one with me. Oh, you're coming towards me. I'll try and get you midair. Oh, we did it. Okay, right. Okay. Let's do it again. I've got both of them. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, this is so good. I've got this feeling that I'm going to read a comment saying that this was always possible and it's not a 1.21 thing. But I tell you what, this has made my life so much easier. Okay, let's get you down here, guys. So we have a group of 4 allays. I actually had 8. The other 4 are all the way up there. And these 4, well, we're going to use them for a prank later on in this video. But right now, I want to show you something, but I didn't hit record soon enough, and it just kind of happened all by itself. You see, there is this contraption, if we want to call it that, a discovery that someone made, and I just saw it in an image when I was searching for some Minecraft stuff, and I immediately just clocked onto what it all was. It kind of explained itself in one image, and I didn't think to actually find out who created it and credit them. So this is something that I just saw, and unfortunately, yeah, I don't know who came up with this. But it's absolutely genius. Look at that right there. Now, for some of you, you see that and you understand everything that's going on. But first, let's talk about this box up top and how I didn't hit record soon enough because I had to lure the allays into this box. So I had a hole in the ceiling. I was throwing andesite down on the ground and they were picking it up, which interestingly, once they're down there, they stay down there. So I'd been goofing around in a creative world figuring out how to get them on the campfire, but it turns out if you leave them alone, they will naturally pathfind to a lower point. So once all 4 of them were in this box, they just naturally pathfinded down there. Now, as you may or may not know, allays regenerate their health, and campfires are dealing damage to them, but it's not enough. It's not fast enough to actually kill the allay. So they will stay on that spot, and for some reason, their pathfinding keeps them there. They are also not big enough to escape out of the sides. But you know what's smaller than an allay? That's right, a silverfish. You can probably see where I'm going with this, right? So with some redstone, we're going to make a cobweb farm. We got a dispenser up here. That's going to dispense the potion of infestation, which means each time these allays take damage, they're going to spawn some silverfish. They're going to end up on these trapdoors around the side. So we have a button here to activate that. As you can see, the redstone simply goes up and across to that dispenser. And then this one here powers the target blocks, which opens the trapdoors and powers this dispenser here too. And it's in that dispenser that we're going to put our splash weaving potions. That means when the silverfish die, they'll turn into cobwebs. And what better way to kill them than with magma blocks? I think we should just see this thing in action now. So let's go ahead and press the first button. The potion was successfully dispensed and we have our first silverfish and now more of them are starting to appear. This button to drop them down and dispense another potion. And I've forgotten some blocks. I've done something wrong here. Oh dear. But you can see there are cobwebs on the inside. Oh, I see. I left this in the wrong state. We press that button, that's how it's supposed to be, right? So they can't escape. Then I press this button to go inside, and I go like this all the way across. Now, the obvious problem is that we can't reach all of these cobwebs, but there's water back there, so we press this button, and all of these just get scooted across, and we can repeat the process. Got to remember to press that, though. then this button, and there's a lot more silverfish this time. Whew, look at that. Okay. And then we go back in and we scoop up more of these. Now we got haste 2, but I think efficiency 5 and unbreaking on these shears would be pretty spectacular. And there it is, my friends. That is a legit cobweb farm, and it's pretty easy to put together. But it ain't done just yet. We got a few more bells and whistles to put on this contraption. And I guess that makes this the finished product. So here we got some indicator lights to let us know if we're running out of any pots. So this is really simple stuff, just some redstone that's connected to the containers that hold these potions. Now these next 2 changes are definitely my favorite. First of all, we can dispense the infested pot, but also we have an infested timer because these potions last 3 minutes. So when I go ahead and press this button, we send the signal upwards, but we also activate a EFO hopper clock that's going to last for 3 minutes as well. So when the potion runs out over there, this lamp is going to turn off. Now, the next button will drop the silverfish, but notice how this is open. When we press that, it's going to close, the silverfish come down, they're going to die, and then it opens again with perfect timing so that we can go in with our shears and get the cobwebs. So we press the button, we pick those up, and then we head out of here and we can just press this button again straight away because it's like a self-resetting circuit. And it's all timed to these silverfish dying. And that, my friends, is a wrap on this project. I think it turned out extraordinarily well. Oh yeah, my timer has run out and I've still got silverfish stored here. Because the trapdoors above only open for a couple of ticks, it means that some of the silverfish remain up there. And I guess that makes this thing a little more efficient. You also don't have to use the water dispenser every time either, right? You could leave these cobwebs here while you're getting as many as quick as you can. But anyways, that puts a wrap on this project for now. Now, my friends, it is time for us to do something rather dastardly. This episode, we have learned how to bring silverfish into existence. And an interesting property of the silverfish is that they like to bury themselves inside of stone. Now, I've been thinking, who has a lot of stone that they're going to replace later on? You know, maybe we can help them get rid of all that stone if they were to accidentally mine some of it when it was infested. Oh, and you can see I've made some preparations already. We got several groups of allay because this area is just absolutely massive. And I want to conduct some experiments with getting these onto the campfire so that we can make our lives a little easier here. I figured something like this might work. If we build up this shape, put the campfire there, put these things here ready for a block above, can I get the allays to just come up here and pick the items directly off of the campfire? They already want to. Let's just unleash them. And in they go. And then straight back out. Oh, because you want to give me back the items. Of course you would. Of course you would. There's got to be an easy way to do this. I'm sure of it. Come on. All of you go down. Just the one guy there hasn't. Now he has. Let's switch to that. Oh, I was able to place it. And that's it. They're locked in there. Now we're going to set these out, and I'm going to try and like distribute them inside of these areas. So this one is almost central to this square. We'll do the same thing in that space. As for these flat surfaces here, I think it's going to be hilarious just to infest them. And then when Impulse starts breaking some blocks around here, he's going to be in for a rude awakening. Oh, another thing I need to do is like initiate the prank. So I figured I'd tell Impulse I left him a gift and give him the coordinates, and he'll assume it's something in the chest and break this block. So this one needs to be infested, which should then start off the chain reaction, right? All right, this is the very last one, which makes me both excited and nervous. Because nothing ever goes to plan, right? And let's face it, the plan hinges on this. Okay, we got our first silverfish outside of there, and one successfully went on that stone block, so I'm happy with that. Now we want all of them to come out the side, so we need to get rid of some of these. And I don't have any thorns, so if they attack me, they're not taking damage. That's really important. But after some point of time, we need them to like distribute down here into the stone. And the only way I can think of doing that is by flying away and seeing what they get up to at a distance, and it kind of looks like it's going perfectly. Yeah, look at that. Oh, we're doing it! We're doing it! This is evil! This is absolutely evil, and I love it. And I guess now it's a question of like, how far do I want to take this? Because I can wait back here and then I can start to lure them around if they fill up too many of those blocks. So it feels like it would be prudent for me to come around and get like all of these. Well, that was terrible. That didn't even hit them. But let's get all of these going at the same time. Oh my god, I've got the effect and I'm taking damage. And that's creating silverfish. And some of them went into the stone up here. Oh dear, oh dear. This means that I can help spread it too. They're jumping out of me as well. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I decided to embrace this by eating golden apples to help me spread these around even more. Oh my god, this is so good. This is so good. I've also got my camera account up here to help me keep an eye on things and see where all the silverfish are going. Oh, this is absolutely bonkers. What a crazy idea. Oh, Impulse will not know what's hit him. So as I'm going around and revisiting the campfire sites, I'm noticing that these silverfish are getting really spread out and they're hanging around in crowds. That's because they're struggling to find blocks to go into in the ground, so they've got to spread out even further. Now we can see the effects of this by pressing F3. And if we have a short list on the right-hand side, that's because we got infested stone. This one right here is infested, for example. So as we go further out, when you see those longer lists, that's regular stone. We're going to do a little something to kind of see how much of the area we've actually infested. So I've downloaded a couple of region files from the server to a single player world, which is why half of Ren's base is missing. And we're going to use World Edit to make a selection of the floor level from one corner all the way to the other. And because there are different block IDs, we can replace the infested stone with red wool. Right, and there's the damage map. Oh, it's not as strong over there. Yeah, this side was kind of neglected a bit. I tended to focus on this middle area. I could have said I was expecting more, but I don't know. That's quite a good spread, isn't it? I'm really tempted to now go throw a few more potions, but I think Impulse will get the point, and time is kind of of the essence here, because at any point, Impulse could be waking up and logging onto the server. So it's now time for us to take apart our deviant little prank. This setup makes it kind of easy to get the allays out. They're all just stuck in a spot, and you can leash them individually, and then break apart the blocks. So now I got a horde of allays. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they look hilarious. All right, this is about the best I can do for now. They're a bit of a nightmare to get over here. They just get stuck on blocks and all sorts of issues. So what will be the fate of these allays? I have absolutely no idea. But I do know that Impulse hasn't run out, and so hopefully he won't suspect a thing. I'm going to drop him a message. And then we just have to wait and see what happens, right? Be sure to keep an eye on his channel for a video with the reaction and all that kind of stuff. I really hope he goes in not realizing there's a prank ahead. I'm not the pranking type, so I should get away with it. Anyway, that's going to be it from me this episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.